Have you ever wondered what Australia looked like 500 or even thousands of years ago? Well, we think we found the place where time is absolutely standing still. Come with us on the journey of a lifetime at Lorella Springs Wilderness Park in the Northern Territory. We started our trip heading from Mataranka to Lorella Springs on the Savannah Way. Our first stop was the Lost City in the Limon National Park. As you can see, the Lost City got its name because it looks like an abandoned city of skyscrapers. These rocks are millions of years old and they formed due to the sediment washing away into the sea millions of years ago. Next stop, Lorella Springs. G'day, we are obviously out here at Lorella Springs. Been on the bucket list for a while, but we're finally here.
We've got beef harassing us at the moment.
Very friendly animals.
He is a friendly animal. He's a lovely animal, but he's also big. Some chooks. But anyway, Lorella Springs, finally here. We left Mataranka yesterday at lunchtime. It was 6 hours on Savannah Way to get out of here. Pretty corrugated. I would suggest there's a lot of high tide pressures around at the moment, but the most spectacular views. The views are absolutely amazing, and we're lucky enough last night to meet Rhett as well, the owner, who shares a lot of the same views that we've got. You'd have said that, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, about preserving wildlife and nature so that everyone can enjoy it and appreciate what this beautiful country has to offer. So.
Absolutely, and it's the land that time forgot. You know, like if you want to see what Australia was like 200 years ago, we've got Indigenous art out here, we've got natural water holes you can go swimming in.
Hot springs.
Yeah, there's a couple of them real big snap and hand bags as well, but we'll keep away from them. But it really is an amazing place, and I think it's only going to get more and more traction. You know, it's good. Also behind us here, these are Rhett's pets. He's got a couple of decent sized snakes in there, which I'm not real happy about.
He's got a little barra and he's got a
barra, yeah.
A freshwater crocodile as well. So
yeah, he's got a barra and a freshie in there.
As soon as you get here, you can see some of the beautiful wildlife around the place. So
yeah, and the freshie's name is Agro. So we haven't played with Agro. We choose not to, not with a name like Agro. But we're going to get out there and explore this place. We've been waiting for 12 months to get out here and actually enjoy what it is. And
that's right, so we're very excited. We're going to start exploring ourselves because it's our first time out here.
Yep.
And we'll show you along the way what this amazing place has to offer. So
Beep's having a bath. I know you guys can't see it, but it's pretty funny.
The emu.
Yeah, the emu, sorry. He's having a wash and a roll around over there. But you know, wonderful place, and so far everybody is so kind. Fuel's expensive out here, and that's understandable. If you can see where we are, it's a long way to get stuff. Logistics are very, very difficult out here. But what Rhett's doing is unbelievable. It really is. So let's go.
Let's go on our adventure.
Yeah, let's go.
Gully. It's a beautiful walk through the creek, and then it just opens up into this amazing gully with the ferns growing on the side. The water is crystal clear, so I'm gonna pop in for a dip.
800 metre walk, reasonably rough terrain, but
Beautiful walk though, through all kinds of different rock formations.
absolutely. And have a look at this.
Incredible.
It's been well worth it. It's certainly been well worth it. And at the moment, it's only 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but at the moment, there's no one else here, but we saw a couple of people going out. So we know that people are swimming here. So up in the NT, generally speaking, if there's water, you don't swim, but Nannies Retreat is a
Fear of crocodiles.
absolute fear of crocodiles. And for good reason. You should also have a fear of crocodiles. And for that matter, really big snakes that have a girth greater than 4 inches, okay? But this place is fantastic, and a lot of people come up here. And when I say a lot, I guess as many people as come to Lorella Springs would have been up here. But it's just...
Beautiful place, the water is clear as...
Oh, it's crystal clear. The water's clear.
And it's shallow here, but it gets quite deep behind us, so you can swim right down through the rocks and you can hear it running at the other side. So we'll go and have a look at what's going on over there, I think.
So we've just been swimming at Nannies Retreat, and we've popped in and had a look at a bit of the Indigenous art. This is, Lorella is a property that, of the 1 million acres, you'd be lucky if people have, you know, touched 100, 200,000 acres of it. And all over this land is Indigenous art to show us that the Indigenous people of Australia have been here for 40,000 years or more, looking after the place. And I think that's what Lorella's about, is letting people know that we can look after Australia, we can look after it, we don't have to mine it, we don't have to cut it up, we don't have to do everything. You only ever sell Australia once. But it's a very spiritual place, and I personally think that to come out to Lorella and get in touch with the land and realise that waterholes like this have been places that communities have lived for thousands of years, and I think that's super important to sort of ground us all. You know, colonists or settlers have only been here for 200 years. And in that 200 years, I don't know that we've made a great impact. I'd like to see that over time, although, you know, we still need tracks and roads and places to get into places like this, but I think we can preserve nature. And I think Lorella Wilderness is the key place to start.
Nannies Retreat is one of the many natural water springs on the property. We camped there overnight, and as you can see, it is a beautiful sight to wake up to in the morning. Next, we headed off to Ship Creek. As you can see, the creek bed here is full of imprint fossils. We found everything from shells to small animals and even bones. Rhett and his family also told us that people have found dinosaur footprints here. We didn't happen to find any, but have a look for yourself and see if you can.
We're just wandering along and looking and noticing that the whole way across this layer of rock, you've got these small rocks. Now, I'm not a geologist butthole. I don't know much about rocks, but I know that it takes a fair while from here to there to build rock on top. But no matter where we look at, there's a layer all the way through like this of these almost river pebbles that have been slightly rounded. So you would presume that the rock's built up over thousands of years. That's why I look at Al Gore with his global warming and realise he bought a house on the beach.
I don't think he's too concerned. Good on you, Al. Biggest con of the century. But I think this layer of rock, just goes to show you how old the world really is. And it's like those fossils, It's fantastic, isn't it? Anyway, got to keep walking.
We've arrived at Rosie Camp number 2, and we're going to set up the camp here. We've got our sausages going for lunch, and then we might see if we can wet a line and catch us a queenie afterwards. See how we go. The campsites along the Rosie River are absolutely breathtaking. The water is so clear that you can see all the structure underneath, so you know that there's plenty of fish there. Unfortunately, we were there at the wrong time of the day, so we left with no queenies, but we did head off to Nudie Hot Springs to camp for the night. At Nudie Hot Spring, we got to wake up to a beautiful morning and have a glorious bath in the hot spring to wash all of that red dust right off of us. Lorella Springs is full of amazing hot springs, and this one is no exception. It is literally 20 metres down from the homestead, so you can camp right near the homestead and just relax in here all afternoon. The Lorella Springs homestead is a great place to relax at the end of a hard day. The friendly staff will continue to give you great advice, serve you up excellent meals and cold beers right into the night. At the homestead, you've also got Rhett's Pets as a main attraction. You can see this is Agro, the gorgeous little freshwater crocodile who they put feedings on for during the week. So you can see how he interacts and how bloody cute he is. This is Beep the emu, who we were talking about at the start. He's very friendly and welcomes everyone to the park. Next, we headed off to Teardrop Falls. It was a magnificent drive, a beautiful track, but it was a lot more rugged than the others had been. This is why we stopped and didn't quite drive all the way to the end, as there were some massive boulders on the track, and we wanted to make sure that we got out of there in one piece. Okay, so we got to Teardrop Falls pretty late in the dry season, so obviously the water wasn't cascading over the waterfall as it normally would be. But let me tell you, the rock formations and everything surrounding this area is still beautiful, whether there is water flowing or not. Gateway Gorge was honestly one of my favourite places on the property, and I think it's because I hadn't seen anything online about it. We didn't know what to expect, and when we got there, it was this awesome view from the top of the Red Rock Cliffs. Walker's Rock has only recently been opened up to the public in the last couple of years. As you approach it, its size is just magnificent. It is in the middle of nowhere, and you can really feel that it was once a spiritual and significant centre for the Indigenous people of this area. Apparently, if you search through the caves, you will find Indigenous art that dates back to 40,000 years plus. We really had an incredible time exploring Lorella Springs Wilderness Park in the Northern Territory. As you can see, what's not to love? The place is absolutely breathtaking. We definitely recommend that you put it on your bucket list. From Walker's Rock, we took the long drive back to the homestead, and as you can see, it was incredible with the sun setting. It really made for a memorable end to our trip.
Okay, our Lorella Springs adventure has come to an end.
It's been a great experience. We've been exploring this amazing property, but of course we've hardly touched the surface of what this place has to offer.
Oh, we haven't even scratched it. We wouldn't have seen 10%, we wouldn't have seen 5%. 1 million acres is hard to comprehend. And Rhett and his family, there's 1,000 kilometres of tracks.
They do a great job keeping them maintained, Yeah. They're out there with the grader quite often, making sure that everyone can get through as best they can. So.
Yeah, we passed the grader, Cowboy was on it, and he walked back about 20 k's. And you sit there and you go, this family lives and breathes this place. It's a credit to them, and I congratulate them on their success here because it's absolutely fantastic.
And they do a great job of keeping it as natural and just raw as possible so that you can see it for what it is.
Oh look, there are so many places here that other than Indigenous people hundreds of years ago, I guarantee that there's places here no white bloke has seen. And I can tell you now, there's not many places on earth like this. Everywhere, it doesn't matter where you go, it's all trampled and developed. But this is a place where time just seriously stood still. And the wildlife, you can hear the birds in the background. There's stuff I've never even seen before.
And there's everything you can imagine to do and see here, from swimming, fishing, camping, full driving, you name it. Bushwalking. The more time you have to explore here, the better.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to need at least a week. So if you're coming out here, you need a week here. Okay, you need a week. It's $20 per person. I think kids are a bit cheaper. I think kids are 10 or something, but $20 per person per night. That gives you access to the entire property. We're not talking big money here. We've stayed here all week for $400.
So well worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And 400 included a few beers, but we're not big drinkers. If you're big drinkers, bring your own. We've only had about 6 or 7 beers between us for a week, so that gives you an idea. But for $400 to come out here for a week and enjoy 1 million acres of untouched paradise, you've got to do it. You've got to do this. You really do. And bring your kids out here. Put their feet on the ground.
There's heaps of them to see and do. It's not just for adults or just for kids. There's a whole range of things. So make sure you put it on your priority list for your next adventure and come out and see this amazing place.
Absolutely. And just a final thanks again to Rhett and his family, who have dedicated really their life. He's been here for 30 years. And their dedication to creating a wilderness park where it's untouched. They're passionate about just simply putting tracks through and only leave footprints. So that sort of mindset, we're very lucky that he owns it. A lot of people would want to develop it and put bitumen freeways through the thing. Rhett doesn't. He's passionate about keeping this as untouched as it can stay and looking after the land, and I think that's a credit to his family.
That's right, and that way we all get to come and appreciate Australia and its raw beauty as it stands. So very, very grateful for that.
100%. And we often say, I often say, what was Australia like 200 years ago? Well, guess what? Like this. So get out here and have a look, But anyway, that'll do.
That's enough for us, and thank you for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Keep living the dream, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, and don't forget, click subscribe, follow what we're doing. We're off to the Birdsville races next. So every day is an adventure.
But leave your comments if you've got any suggestions of where we should go, or you want some suggestions of where to go and what to do and what to see here especially. Make sure you write that and we'll do our best to get back to you.
We will, and we'll be back next year. There's no question about it.
We'll come back when it's a bit wetter. Waterfalls will be going, and we'll see this place a little bit different. So we're at the tail end of the season, but we'll try and get back a bit sooner so that we can see it in all its glory.
Absolutely. Till next time, thanks for watching.
Thank you.